You ever look at your bank account at the end of the month and just wonder where all the money went? It's not the big stuff, like rent. It's those little drips, the tiny charges you barely even notice. Well, what if I told you that's not just bad luck? What if it's a system, a trap you might not even know you're in? Oof, does that hit a little too close to home? You know that feeling, right? You expect to have a certain amount, but reality is much, much lower. It's the slow bleed. Those subscriptions you signed up for and maybe even forgot about. That streaming service, that food delivery app, that piece of software. It all just adds up, $15 at a time.
And here's the real kicker. This isn't just about needing a better budget. Feeling like you're being drained by a dozen tiny cuts, well, that's not an accident. It's actually the whole point of a massive change in how we buy, well, everything.
So let's stop talking about feelings and start talking about actual numbers. What is the real cost of this slow bleed every single year?
Okay, take a second, just guess. Add up all your little monthly subscriptions in your head. What do you think you're spending? A few $100 a year? Maybe 1,000 if you have a lot of them? I'm gonna bet the real number is way higher.
$3,200. That's the average every single year. That is not a small leak, my friends. That is a fire hose of your money pouring out of your bank account for things you will never, ever own. This isn't just about convenience anymore. It's a serious financial drain.
And this whole system, it has a name. Some people call it digital feudalism. Yeah, I know, it sounds a little intense, but honestly, when you see how it works, you'll get why it's a pretty fitting name.
So here it is in a nutshell. It used to be that the goal was to own things. You'd buy a house, a car, a CD, and it was yours. But in this new system, the goal isn't ownership, it's access. You just pay and pay and pay for the right to use something. You're basically a permanent renter in your own life.
I mean, this really lays it all out, doesn't it? Just think about it. We went from buying CDs to subscribing to Spotify. We went from buying software in a box to subscribing to Microsoft 365. More and more people are leasing cars instead of buying them. The product isn't the thing anymore. The product is access.
And it's not just in one or two places, it's everywhere. This model has totally taken over how we get our entertainment, how we work, how we get around. It's like we're being systematically rewired to prefer renting over owning.
Okay, so what's the big deal? What's the real consequence of all this renting? Well, if we don't own anything anymore, then who does? And that leads us to the biggest effect of all, a giant and mostly silent transfer of wealth.
See, on one side, you've got these new digital landlords, the huge companies that provide all these services. Every single month when you pay that subscription fee, they're not just making money, they're building enormous wealth. They own the platforms, they own the code, they own the movie libraries, they own all the actual assets.
And on the other side, well, there's you. After paying thousands and thousands of dollars over the years, what do you actually have to show for it? You don't have a shelf of movies? You don't have software you can resell? Nothing. You're left with just the memory of having access while owning absolutely zero. That wealth went straight from your wallet into their pockets.
All of this really brings us to a huge question about where we're all headed. We've talked about the cost, we've looked at the system, but what does this really mean for the future?
So I'm just going to leave you with this to chew on. As we keep trading ownership for convenience, for that temporary access, what are we really giving up? Is actually owning something, having it be truly yours, still important? And if it is, how do we even get it back in a world that seems designed to make us all renters for life?